Good evening. Employers will pay more into their workers' superannuation accounts under major changes to our tax system. But the promised overhaul is being criticised as weak, with only a handful of Ken Henry's recommendations accepted.
He's consulted for 18 months on his big tax plans, but today it seemed Treasury head Ken Henry was all talked out.
Mr Henry, do you think the government will have the courage to make tough decisions today? Very quiet on a big day.
The government has walked straight past most of his 138 recommendations,
some of which we would never do in 1,000 years.
But has latched onto a big one, taxing mining profits and redistributing them to boost superannuation, slash company taxes and fund infrastructure.
To make sure that Australians get a fair share of the resources which they themselves own.
The super guarantee would rise from 9 to 12% over the next decade, adding $108,000 to the entitlements of a worker aged 30 now. Those on less than $37,000 would get an annual $500 government super contribution, and the age limit for super payments would rise from 70 to 75, encouraging older people to work longer.
This plan means that working families of the future will have to worry less about their retirement.
Company tax for small businesses would be cut from 30 to 28% by 2013, by 2015 for larger companies, and Australia's 2.5 million small businesses, shop owners, tradespeople, contractors would get an extra tax break, with changes allowing the immediate write-off of assets up to $5,000.
The plan will also help build the rail, roads and ports we need for the future.
Another $700 million a year for that, all of it funded by a controversial 40% tax on mining companies' so-called super profits, reaping between $9 and $12 billion a year.
What we've got here today from the government is a tax grab, not tax reform.
Taxing times ahead. Mark Riley, 7 News.
7's finance expert David Kosh joins us now. David, what's your verdict? Was this genuine tax reform?
Graham, this was meant to be the start of the taxation revolution, the government's response to Henry. Quite frankly, they wimped out. Henry made over 130 recommendations to build a world's best practice tax system. The government's only adopted a handful so far. The cornerstone for most of us was in superannuation. They're going to increase the superannuation guarantee from 9 to 12%. That's the bit the bosses contribute on our behalf. They'll increase it gradually, but we won't get to 12% until the year 2020. It's a long way off. They'll also contribute $500 a year to the superannuation of low-income earners, those who earn under $37,500 a year. That's a good thing. Company tax will be cut from 30 to 28%, probably to offset the increase in the superannuation that the bosses will have to pay. But most small businesses don't operate under a company structure. They operate under a different structure, so they're really not going to get the benefits. So all in all, I've got to say it's an opportunity lost.